So Pfizer has released a statement. They released a statement at 8 p.m. on a Friday night, the same night that a big video came out showing somebody being beaten to death by the police. So 8 p.m. release, they deny that they do gain of function research while also saying they kind of do gain of function research. So I'm going to read you the whole thing, even though it is kind of convoluted. But and then I'll read you a summary of it and see if they really were doing gain of function research or if they weren't, and whether this is a real story or if it's not a real story. So this is in response to the Project Veritas video that showed a director at Pfizer say that Pfizer is doing gain of function research, which he called directed evolution, in order to change the COVID-19 virus into something that they could then make a vaccine for. So something totally 100% super diabolical. And it's blown up. The video has been censored by YouTube now, but the exposure on Twitter shows that YouTube may not have the same relevancy as before, because even though they suppressed the video, even before they deleted the video now has over 22 million views on Twitter. And they intentionally made the video just under 10 minutes long so that it would be the perfect length for a Twitter video. And this might be the first instance I'm aware of, or maybe an early instance of something actually getting more play, a video that's more than a minute or two long, getting more play on Twitter than on YouTube. And the video is available on Rumble, where it has about 300,000 views. Before it got kicked off Twitter, it had less than 1 million views. But like I said, before it got kicked off YouTube, had less than 1 million views on YouTube. But on Twitter, it's getting huge play. They're having major Twitter spaces with tens of thousands of people. This is a major story, and everybody's running with it. Dr. Malone is 100% behind it. I'm going to just tell you, just from a fact checking perspective, where we're at with it. So I'll read you the Pfizer response. Okay. I'll read you the whole thing, even though it's dry and kind of convoluted. I might try to throw in some explanations for what they're saying, but here is the response by Pfizer, which was dropped on a Friday night. Pfizer responds to research claims, and it says even Friday, January 27th at 8 p.m. Allegations have recently been made related to gain of function and directed evolution research at Pfizer, and the company would like to set the record straight. In the ongoing development of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, Pfizer has not conducted gain of function or directed evolution research. Working with collaborators, we have conducted research where the original SARS-CoV-2 virus has been used to express the spike protein from new variants of concern. This work is undertaken once a new variant of concern has been identified by public health authorities. This research provides a way for us to rapidly assess the ability of an existing vaccine to induce antibodies that neutralize a newly identified variant of concern. We then make this data available through peer-reviewed scientific journals and use it as one of the steps to determine whether a vaccine update is required. So I'll summarize this first part. This is where they deny doing any gain of function or directed evolution research. And they say in their research for the vaccine, sometimes they use the original virus and new variants of the virus, which have already been identified, which came out of existence through nature or some other means that wasn't directed by Pfizer. Sometimes they take the new variants, they test their vaccine with the original virus to make sure that their vaccine still produces antibodies against the new variants of concern. No gain of function, no directed evolution. Okay, that's the first paragraph. In addition, to meet US and global regulatory requirements for our oral treatment, Paxlovid, Pfizer undertakes in vitro work to identify potential resistance mutations to nirmatrelvir, one of Paxlovid's two components. With a naturally evolving virus, it is important to routinely assess the activity of an antiviral. Most of this work is conducted using computer simulations or mutations of the main protease, a non-infectious part of the virus. Okay, so this is where they're saying they do test for future mutations. They do computer simulations, mostly. Then they say, in a limited number of cases, when a full virus does not contain any known gain-of-function mutations, such virus may be engineered to enable the assessment of antiviral activity in cells. I'll read that part again. In a limited number of cases, when a full virus does not contain any known gain-of-function mutations, such virus may be engineered to enable the assessment of antiviral activity in cells. Such virus as in a gain-of-function virus, may be engineered. In addition, in vitro resistance selection experiments are undertaken in cells incubated with SARS-CoV-2 and nirmatrelvir in our secure biosafety level 3 laboratory to assess whether the main protease can mutate to yield resistant strains of the virus. It is important to note that these studies are required by US and global regulators for all antiviral products and are carried out by many companies and academic institutions in the US and around the world. Fact-based information rooted in sound science is vitally important to overcoming the COVID-19 pandemic, and Pfizer remains committed to transparency and helping alleviate the devastating burden of this disease. So it's a complicated article. I told you that one part kind of says, oh, well, we have to test our Paxlovid to see if it's going to work against possible mutations in the future. So sometimes we make mutations to test to see if the thing will work against mutations. It's different. Okay. It's different than what the guy said in the video. One way or the other, it is different. They're saying it's not to make a new vaccine, but to test to see if their medicine that you take orally, Paxlovid, will work against a version that doesn't exist yet. So I asked the AI, because it's complicated science stuff. I asked ChatGPT to summarize what Pfizer was saying in their statement. This is the summary of it, okay? Pfizer is saying that they have not done any research that would change the COVID-19 virus to make it more dangerous. They have done research using the virus to see how well their vaccine works against different versions of the virus. They also do testing in a lab to make sure a medicine they make called Paxlovid can still work against the virus if it changes. This is normal work that is required by the government for all medicines that fight viruses. Pfizer wants people to know they're being honest and transparent. Okay, so it's kind of a pro-Pfizer AI, but I just gave it the text. And that summary is kind of what they are saying. And then I asked, based on the text, does Pfizer mutate the virus? To which this tool says, Pfizer is conducting research where the original SARS-CoV-2 virus is being used to express the spike protein from new variants of concern. However, they are not conducting any gain-of-function or directed evolution research. Pfizer is also conducting in vitro work to identify potential resistance mutations to nirmatrelvir, one of the components of Paxlovid. So they are doing something, right? So this thing doesn't even give me a straight answer. Pfizer didn't exactly give a straight answer, but it is different from what the guy said. And in regards to what the guy said, this is where I'm at with it as a fact check. Okay. They got the guy out on a date saying that Pfizer did this stuff. Okay. Coincidentally, he said exactly what his date was hoping he would say. So if you want to justify that maybe he was making it up, he did have a feeling for what the guy he was with wanted to hear, which is that Pfizer was doing some crazy shit. And that's what he told him, that Pfizer was doing some crazy, I mean, really next level crazy stuff. I mean, that's what we're talking about. That's why it's such a popular video, because it's next level crazy stuff. Subsequently, he was confronted, said he lied about that to impress the guy he was with, okay, which kind of did impress him a little. Yeah, I don't know about impressed. This is something people debate. People say nobody would ever make that up. I'm of the opinion somebody could make it up. Somebody could. That's my opinion. Somebody could make it up. I don't know. I know guys, they say crazy, guys will say crazy shit to impress somebody. And this guy had been drinking and it was a date situation. Okay, so when he said that he was lying and he made it up, and now that Pfizer's made a statement saying they don't do what he said, now we have doubt, basically. So I don't know if Project Veritas shouldn't have published the original video, but there is doubt, okay, from a fact-checking point of view. Pfizer denies it. The guy said he made it up. Now, in order for Project Veritas to say they really have something, Project Veritas needs to come up with more corroborating evidence that Pfizer was really doing this stuff. Because the guy hasn't been fired yet, which says to me that he didn't leak confidential company information. I know, like, people really want to believe in this thing, so I don't want to be a buzzkill or anything. It might be true. It might be. But they didn't fire the guy. And if he had leaked confidential company information, wouldn't you think they would have fired him right away? I don't know. That's just my thoughts. But people are still talking about it. Pfizer's made their statement now. They officially said no. Now the ball is in James O'Keefe's court, where he's got to come up with somebody else to, that's where it's at now. We need more information to say that what that guy was saying was 100% accurate. So that's where we're at. All right. Thought I'd show you Pfizer's response, and I'll keep track of the story. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned. Tune in for the live shows. Hit the like button on your way out, and we'll see you at the next one. For now, that's what it is.